It's your boy ConserViz34, and welcome to another Saturday night stream. I'm going to post a link again on Twitter and let some people come in. And great to be back here on another Saturday night. Let's put that link in the Twitter. Okay. All right, so I'll let people roll in here, but excited to be back. I got my 2013 Summer Tour Concert t-shirt on, and that was, to me, just a heck of a year. My second year of touring ever, but a year that because of that, what we got that year in Hartford for 2 nights at Mansfield is why I think my obsession with the Dave Matthews Band is the way it is now. Just hit up a couple of the people here now and get people rolling in. And then I want to go over those shows real quick of this weekend and tell a story. And if you miss it live and you come in live, hopefully you'll catch it on the rebroadcast. But this 6 years ago today, I was sitting in the lawn. My fourth BNB, my fourth Dave Matthews Band show, second show in a row for night. That's right. I went to the previous night, and just a heck of a run. So let me set the scene for you guys here of what transpired. So let's start back to June 7th, 2013. And this weekend started off with a lot of rain, like tons of rain. I've never seen the tailgate scene so empty in Hartford. Hartford is a big tailgate town for concerts. We don't have much. We don't have professional sports. We don't have, well, we have music parks up the road in Massachusetts, but we don't have much to do. People just tailgate at concerts that are popular just to have fun. They didn't even go to the show. We had the riots there at the turn of the century. So 6/7/2013, the temperature was 57 degrees at on stage time, just tons of rain. By the way, Head in the Heart is the opener. Back when we used to have openers, you remember that? And it used to pay less than we pay now. Anyway, the Head in the Heart were amazing. I wasn't even there for the opener. I didn't really know who they were. And they just killed it. They did a really great job there. And they opened up. And this is the band's 34th show at Hartford. So they start off the show behind the curtain. They would do these 2-night stands and have the curtain the first day up. And I saw that here. And they did that the year after that. I don't think they do it anymore. I can't even remember from last year. But so the curtain's up, and this is how you know the night's magical. First of all, no one's on the lawn. It's monsoon season on the lawn. People are all waiting inside or trying to get to the front of the lawn with a little bit of cover. Like, people literally abandoned the show because of how bad the lawn was, just nonstop. Like, it was like almost like a tropical storm system that came through. So behind the curtain, you just hear some noodling. And then it sounds like someone's playing number 34. It's Dave on his 12-string guitar playing number 34 for the band's 34th show in Hartford at this venue specifically. Curtain drops, JTR is playing. And I mean, just one of the 8 performances of it that year. And again, all Eastern time zone for that year, of course. But we get a JTR that comes through. And I think it was amazing to get that. And then we have Warehouse. Okay, then we have Squirm. Okay, we're getting a little warmer. Broken Things is played number 4. One of 9 broken things, the only broken things at the venue. Idea of You is played. Kill the Preacher is played, all like 3 minutes of it. The full Kill the Preacher. Okay, and just a heck of a Kill the Preacher. Then Why I Am, and then after Why I Am, so you get all this energy. Captain smoothly transitions from Why I Am, all the energy to just a nice smooth Captain. Belly Belly Nice, and then a fish tender, Big Eye Fish the bartender, and then a song that Jane likes, Lie in Our Graves for 16 minutes, and then Running Down the Dream live full band debut. Fonz had played it for Yukon Cornelius, but Running Down the Dream, you know, full band debut, Rooftop, and then after Rooftop, a 17-minute Dreaming Tree to Rhyme and Reason to Everything, the Ants Marching, Drunken Soldier in the Encore one spot, and then All Along the Watchtower. And Talking Tunes, I just saw it. Don't worry, but thank you for coming in. Thank you, Talking Tunes. Talking Tunes, by the way, let me interrupt my breakdown of this by saying he mailed out a couple packages to me and Live Tracks 22 on CD quality, and then the full CD thing, and then the last Live Tracks 37, I believe it is, the one in Hartford, which was actually today, which we'll talk about in a moment. But thank you. It was 6/8 of 97, and I got it there. Thank you again for that. But yeah, so Drunken Soldier and Watchtower, those are the two for the close. This is night one. This isn't night two. This is a night one show. And the cool thing about this, we have for long plays, we have a 10-minute Warehouse, a 14-minute Bartender, a 16-minute Lie in Our Graves, a 17-minute Dreaming Tree, all in the same show. And Drunken Soldiers was 9 minutes and 51. This show was 2 hours and 38 minutes and 35 seconds of song time. Yeah, Talking Tunes, I got both the packages in the Gorge and Radio City, and thank you for those. Don't worry about the Gorge because I have digitally all of those. So the CD that's missing I already have, but it's cool to have that physical copy. And then the Radio City, but thank you for that. So yeah, this first night, Hartford night 1, 6/7/2013 is amazing. So just to break it down, after this show, at the time I was unemployed. Technically, I had a part-time job, but I had lost a job because I couldn't get licensed for the Series 6 exam. I was like 22. No, I think I was 21. 13? No, 20. I was 22 because it was 2013 in June. My birthday's in October. So yeah, I was 22, and I was really just trying to find myself. This exam really had got me at the end of 2012. I couldn't pass the Series 6 exam, missed it by 2, missed it by 1. I missed it by 3, missed it by 1. I was just a young kid out of college. So picked up a FedEx job. I still have to work this FedEx job after this amazing show. And remember, 2 hours and 38 minutes. So I get out, I'm really close to the venue, but I don't get to my house until like 1 o'clock. So I get to my house at 1 o'clock. I go to sleep. I wake up at like 7 or about 8:30 because I have to I have to mentor middle school kids, which I do every Saturday. Been doing that since 2012. So I have to mentor these middle school kids for 2 hours from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock there at my church. That's not it. I'm done with that. And I pretty much go change at my house and go to my friend's house because this is a Saturday night in Hartford in 2013. We're tailgating the whole day. So I have to go to his house. Thankfully, I didn't have to drive. I was exhausted. So I drive to his house and just can chill there. It's me, him, and a bunch of girls from his from Assumption College where he was going at the time, or he just had graduated from in 2012. So it's his Assumption friends, me and him, in a big van. So we're tailgating. Look on Twitter, some of the pictures I ran into one of my residents from my college days, like from a couple years ago before the 2013 show. They were my residents. So I ran into them, and that's the picture of the people there. And then me and my boy Joe is in the other picture on Twitter. So we are at this show. I have not had much sleep. I slept from 1:30 to 3:30 because my FedEx job was at 4 in the morning. And then I just went to mentoring, and I went to his house, my friend Joe's house. So I have no sleep. And then here's what we get the next night for 6/8/2013. We get a C Cup opener, Proudest Monkey of Satellite. Okay, Don't Drink the Water, 7. All right, yeah, cool. 6 spot, we get A Spoon with Stanley Jordan. I'm like, what? Then we get Shake Me Like a Monkey, whatever. I don't care. We just got Spoon. The riff, one of four riffs, one of four of the riffs on that tour. The only time again played at Hartford, and Hartford has a storied history with the 2 night stands. Gray Street, Mercy, which was too long, 14 minutes, 10 seconds, way too long. But Mark Whitfield was on electric guitar. So we have another guest. And again, the Head and the Heart opened this show again. So, I mean, you get Head and the Heart back to back nights. So Mercy, So Right, which was awesome. Long Jimmy, okay, yeah. And then Gaucho, and then Boa, Best of What's Around. To recently, then we have Funny the Way It Is, the PNP Rapunzel. And then Dave comes back on and Blue Water Partial, a 2 minute and 14-second Dave solo Blue Water. And mind you, this is my second year of seeing them live. I knew their popular albums. I didn't know what the heck a Blue Water was at the time, but I was like, yo, this is kind of eerie and like, all right, what is he gonna do? And I hear like, I'm like, okay. And I really wish I knew what it was at the time because I would have been yelling. But it was just a really eerie, cool thing. I was like, okay, E minor to C. Okay, he's just going back and forth, and then he stops it just because it's a partial. It's teasing you, and then he does does a 19-minute and 24-second two-step, which I had to leave because one of the girls that we were with, it was me, my friend Joe, and a bunch of his female friends from college. One of the girls left the gates probably around Boa, so the 14th spot. So everyone went to go make sure she was okay because some creepy dude was trying to flirt with her, and she was outside. She had left the venue, and so I have to leave this two-step. And it's okay because the next show, which is 6/15/13, which is the next show, they take a week off and then go to Mansfield. I get to hear two-step there. So I got two-step, a long extended two-step back-to-back shows, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that was my weekend in 2013 there, and just an amazing, that weekend turned me into a fan. Someone commented on something, I don't know if it was on Twitter or on Facebook. They said, I'll put that 13 show against any show I've seen. It just was a heck of a show. Broken Things, man. JTR and Dreaming Tree, just the Holy Trinity. Amen. So really cool. Now, hopefully we'll get to Patrick. I don't know if Patrick's coming on. What did Patrick say? Thank you for being on Talking Tunes. It says scene. I don't know. Okay, but we're gonna get going with and Talking Tunes. Feel free to chime in, but we're gonna get going on the first thing, which is the video I recorded, which I know is not realistic, and I know that it can be mean-spirited in some ways and selfish, but this is how I feel, and it's something where I respect the band. I would never tell them to their face, don't do this, but I'm making a case, writing an argument for why they should stop releasing new music, and you can watch that video on my YouTube page. Now, one thing I wouldn't be mad about with all of if you watch the video, I'm not mad with experimenting. I'm not mad with a song, an unreleased song coming out that they want to trial and error, because those are great things for the band. When they develop something on the fly and test it out and see how it goes on the fly, I don't mind that. What I don't want is a full project or more covers to be added to this band, just because there's so much to explore. And like I said in the video, Billy Joel stopped making music in 1993. Okay, so he starts off in the late 60s, early 70s, and 80s. He does some stuff, and then at 93 he just stops. And one thing that you're able to do when you stop is you're able to really enjoy your catalog. And I think now that Dave is in his 50s, Carter is in his 60s, Fonz is in his 40s, and things are, these people are human. my preference would be for the band to explore some old moments. They've done this. They've played, to their credit, played You Never Know a lot last year compared to the average amount of You Never Knows you get. They have played Captain in 2013. They played Captain a lot. They brought it back last year for some shows, which I was able to hear Captain at Hartford. So they are exploring old tunes. They brought back Stolen Away with the two sets, and they've recently made a comeback a couple years ago, and it hasn't been played that much recently. But that song wasn't played as heavily in the mid 2000s, and then they brought it back. I think it was 2013, 14, no, 14, 15. They really brought it back with the two sets again. So in Drive In, Drive Out, got some play at that 2012-ish era too as well. 2013, you could catch it. And again, I want to see more of that. I want to see some of that stuff rotate in, even if it's for a show or two, even if it's for a week. I want people to experience that. I don't want any more new music. So Talking Tunes, what did you think? I know you made some comments, but what are you, any more comments or thoughts about that? My video. And as I mentioned in the video, it's just sure they're gonna release a lot of old stuff, but that doesn't mean the old stuff's gonna be played. See, if there was an album that they were promoting where it was all unreleased stuff, or even just like stuff in the companion, like a Joyride that they're just gonna release again on a full like a studio album, a Beach Ball, which is a big whiskey. Beach Balls on a big whiskey kind of companion disc, or like the bonus disc there, or something. Like if they just put that stuff and they even re-record it, if they bring back some of the Batson sessions and master it, I would love that. Right, and Talking Tunes, you did say that if you'd welcome new music if the full band was involved in the songwriting. Right, Dave is really writing it himself, so maybe it bounce stuff off of Buddy, who was a big catalyst. Bounce some stuff off of Tim, Carter, Rashawn, bring everyone in, Fonz, and I think that's true. And also, I think when you look at a song like That Girl Is You, that's all Dave making every part. Carter will play what Dave will play. I mean, he's a wizard. But even a song like that was just all Dave. And I know Dave's solo album is amazing. But That Girl Is You, it doesn't do it for me without Preservation Hall Jazz Band. So I think the involvement of the entire band is great too, because you get other minds. Bring in someone else. Bring in another songwriter. And a lot of, and the thing is, when they promote a new album, one thing I'll give them credit for is like, and you actually just brought up Talking Tunes, they are rotating certain stuff out. And that's what I wanted, that's what I give them credit for. Away from the World isn't being played really. They played Mercy, I think, once in Europe, but they're not playing Away from the World outside of Dave and Tim and Dave solo. But even with that, it takes up too many spots. So yeah, I think even if they rotate out stuff, it's still a log jam of music, because okay, let's just say they take out, because Big Whiskey, the thing is Big Whiskey is still being played. Big Whiskey is still being played, and they haven't turned away Big Whiskey. If they turned away Big Whiskey, even if they moved away from the World forward, but like the problem is, I think just Big Whiskey along with a new album is just too much. And that's what they've really done is they have Big Whiskey and the Bluegrass King for a couple songs, 2 or 3 songs, and then they add in a new album. And I would rather see I would rather see Big Whiskey get the stand-up treatment, and then Come Tomorrow get the stand-up treatment, and then you look at your catalog more of deeper cuts from Crash, from For These Crowded Streets, from even Every Day. But there is a point to that. They are rotating stuff out, so maybe they just turn away come tomorrow. But the thing is, I don't think they would do that overnight. Now, maybe in 2 or 3 years they start taking come tomorrow out. And also the other thing is, away from the world. Dave talks about not liking certain things about that and being honest about that. So that could be another reason they don't play it. But to me, I would just love to see the new album be phased out into 1 or 2 songs, and whiskey, big whiskey, just be phased out to 1 song or 2 songs, and really the band just bring in some more, some devil, bring in some other stuff. Um, and talking to is right, yeah, they're probably gonna start winding down come tomorrow soon. Um, I think they're gonna do that, and we'll see because this is just the second year, so the stuff is still fresh. They have ideas floating in their head. I'm sure still would come tomorrow songs, but we'll see what happens too with that. And I think that's a good point. Talking tunes is that even if they rotate out one, they're still going to be 50-50, and some of it comes down to the songs they decide to select for the songs they select from the big three. That's really what it is. Because what they're selecting from the big three is, if you look at three, Under the Table and Dreaming songs, it's Satellite, Warehouse, and Warehouse is pretty cool. But it's like Satellite, Warehouse, and I'm trying to think of another. What would you say? That could be the 3 songs from Under the Table and Dreaming instead of Typical Situation, Best of What's Around, and okay, just say what would you say? That's the thing too that matters is you'll see certain song spreads, but they're not playing the special songs, the rare cuts. There's 3 songs from Crash, but it's Proudest Monkey, Crash Into Me, and then 41. So it's like, okay, where is Cry Freedom? Where is Say Goodbye in that mix? And that's the other thing of I think that's where my video does miss its point, is it doesn't take into consideration that sometimes it's not about how many new songs they're playing, it's about what songs they're playing from the old material. And the songs they're playing from the old material are the generic songs. When you look at Before These Crowded Streets, if you were to see 3 songs from Before These Crowded Streets on a set list, it's probably going to be Don't Drink the Water, and then maybe you get a Stay or a PNP Rapunzel. But most times, if there's 3 songs from Before These Crowded Streets, it's Rapunzel and Don't Drink the Water. Those are guaranteed to be 2 out of the 3. So it's not going to be Spoon. It's not going to be Dreaming Tree. It's not going to be The Last Stop. It's not going to be The Stone as much. But The Stone was played right at the break a couple times, so I give him credit for that. So we'll see. But that's the other side of my art that I guess you could say is a flaw or just or food for thought there. Oh, so on Instagram they talked about set lists. I did not see that, but I'm gonna take a look. The band of Let me look at Dave Matthews Band because that's important if they're gonna talk. Let me take a look here on that. Let's see. Okay, so far, what's your favorite set list of the DMB 2019 Summer Tour? Okay. This question can open a can of worms, DMB Smith. Even if it's not Boyd, please bring back the vibe. Oh, yeah. So people are just complaining. Yeah. Right. Right. That's interesting talking to you, especially after the meltdown, like you said, and Dave saying, I play what I want. Dallas, no question. Changing the set list on the fly to play JTR. Hey, if they're gonna listen to this, anything but Nashville. Hands down, Dallas. I was in the rain, the banger. Dallas, not even close. A bunch of tweets unavailable. Was Dreaming Tree played on any of the dates? Nope. Someone said Maryland Heights. There was only one good so far. What you mean? Dallas for sure. JTR, Dallas with Halloween. Um, okay. Interesting though. This is thank you for sending that talking to me because that is who they're they're asking. So they're listening. Maybe they're listening because since people started criticizing Jeff, since Dave said I play what I want, um, they're being more open. Right. It could be the marketing machine. It could just be the hype and get stuff. But even just posing that question is interesting because they don't do it that much. Um, right. There could be, the social media person probably sees all this stuff where Dave doesn't. Someone says anything with the song Say Goodbye. Yeah, I'm going to like that post right now. Just because Des Moines, the one with JTR, Dallas, Des Moines, the next one, Des Moines was amazing. Dallas, the one with Boyd. Oh, wait. All right. Sending them shots. So that's good that at least the band does. So he says the band does a great job of keeping fans engaged. Yes and no. I do think though that they do, like I said, that one and the big whiskey one. The only thing is, yeah, I think they do. The social media overall does a good job. The thing is, I think the engagement is for the clickbait for sure. But I think the conversation back is limited. There's certain social media teams, and they bring in these panels of people that run social media accounts, and they're witty. Like Wendy's had a good sting. Some of the hockey teams and baseball teams, they don't do that enough. Now that could open up a can of worms too, but that's where I think that they hold back. When I think of engagement, I think of how certain Twitter moments are the actual Twitter account saying something funny or roasting somebody. But they do come up, yeah, their content is great. They have photos, they have different things. Their photos are great. They get those high quality professional shot photos. They say, see you on the road. Hey, we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. This is coming soon. This one is out. This live tracks is out. XM Radio, we've teamed up. They do a great job with that. So now I agree with that. The content is really good that they put out. The engagement, yeah. So, but I would love to see them more engaged. Now, but you're spot on talking to them. It is it's on point there. But this set list, check out the video. I could talk in circles about the video. So I'm gonna skip that. And I think for some reasons, like I think it's better in some ways it's better for them not to engage because it's a dangerous line, especially with concerts where people want songs. I mean, you look at any page. I remember it started on Facebook, then it went to Twitter. If you look at any page, there's always like a music page. Someone's always complaining about, oh, come to Sweden, come to Norway, come to Antarctica. Like just from like an artist saying like, thank you for like the tour is underway. And they're like, why didn't you come to Sweden? Why didn't you come to like, you know, some random country in South America? What? Why did you come to the African Congo? Like, why don't you come to Sudan? Well, because if they come to Sudan, they may not make it out of the country. You know, like it's just like it's pretty interesting. Like, why don't you come to East Germany? Like, it's like, yeah, why don't you come to West Germany? Like yeah, it's pretty silly. Some of the stuff. Why don't you come to North Korea? Well, because we don't want to get in trouble like people who have gotten arrested in North Korea just for allegedly doing stuff they never did. But so that's the thing is it is tough with that versus Wendy's. They can do stuff or other social media is a little different, but music people are sensitive. Um, right, people are doing everything but replying with their favorite set list. Bring back the violin. Bring back the violin. Come play in my backyard. Why aren't you doing this show in my backyard? Whoa, you live in Montana. and logistically, the equipment that the band needs for optimal performance levels cannot be transported to your backyard in Montana. Like you live in northern Alaska. Like there is no road accessible from North America. We would have to fly everything by plane, by prop plane to northern Alaska for everything to get there. Like that's what people are. Anyway, let me stop. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Charlotte show. I would listen to it more, but they're giving the warehouse is getting another, this is another free piece of content we're getting. Was talking to me brought up earlier in the week to me, but this is about this content, another free piece of content for warehouse members. You can purchase it, I guess, if you're not a warehouse member. Supposedly, I just use my code and whatever for the warehouse. But to me, the highlights, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but to me, Time Bomb, Big Eye Fish, Don't Burn the Pig, which they call Don't Burn the Pig instead of Pig, which is interesting. It's like, oh yeah, this is a warehouse exclusive for free, like for a free download. We're gonna play a little game with you. Say Don't Burn the Pig. So those were great. Buddy at the beginning, the Big Eye Fish doing Boyd's parts. It's not Boyd. It's not a violin. It's not a fiddle. But I love the little reverbed keys that he plays. The dun 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 dun. That I can't even sing it, but I thought that was cool. And more live music. We get Pelham. I think it was Hamburg that everyone was talking about. Hamburg was what people thought was going to be this Friday. And I was going to I almost posted a thing on Twitter. I try not to be reactionary before something happens, but because of the rumors were so strong, I know talking to you had told me it was going to be one of the European, I think it was Hamburg, what it was going to be. And then other people were saying it on other social media platforms and on the forums that, oh, Hamburg's going to be next. The fact that they pulled the Dallas JTR from what the rumors were from being leaked allegedly to, oh, we're going to go to Pelham, Alabama. I thought that was a great change. Thought that was a great change there because I was looking at that Hamburg show. The European shows, now that we've had a couple, we don't need another European show. Unless we're going to get the Help Myself, just solely for the show with Help Myself. There's no real reason to play another European show because they're so repetitive. Now, again, I will listen to Lying in the Hands of God from any show ever under the Buddy Strong era or even under the older versions before Buddy was here. But other than that, the songs are so repetitive. I was going to make a video pointing out how if Hamburg or whatever that show was that was going to be released, I looked up what they were saying for the rumors, and it pretty much overlapped. I think there wasn't going to be anything but possibly one new song. Everything else was going to be repeating. Right, I think people did just assume that because they went with that Europe flow. You see, 1 Europe, 2 Europe. Okay, they're doing Europe. They're not going to do the fall tour. They're not going to do 2019. But the other thing is when you listen to Pelham and you compare it to Europe, the band sounds much better. Maybe it's the technology, maybe it's the venues overseas. They're playing more intimate venues that are closer to a club or closer to a Capitol Theater or closer to a Beacon Theater type crowd where you have 3,000 fans but they're not the Beacon Theater, they're not the Capitol Theater, which are great sounding venues. Maybe it was something where just the way the sound is in Europe. The European shows didn't sound that good, like the sound, the mix of it. And Pelham sounds amazing. And we get a One Sweet World. We get a Seek Up that was just really, really dope. And you get some other surprises in there and excitement. Not the best show. I mean, again, it wasn't Des Moines, it wasn't Dallas, but still a good show to pick. Still a good show to pick. So now the other thing is we're starting to get 2018, 2019 overload. The band is giving us a lot of content. What show is Tape by Tapers? Oh, the Charlotte 2018. Right. Uh, oh, it wasn't tape by tape. It was right because that's one of those venues where we didn't have a tape. Right. So no one really had access, and we're getting that now as ticket prices go up. The taper community is getting older and can't travel as much. We're getting shows where we just have nothing. And Ants Marching talks about this: support your taper, buy them a beer, buy them a seat, try to get them close as center as possible or the best positioning for the mics. This is something that this is where hopefully the band, if they could just start releasing every show for purchase. But the thing is, the other flip side is what I'm talking about first. Now that we have a bunch of these 2018 and 2019 shows that are being streamed or released, it kind of tells me how. I mean, it's nice to have this stuff, but there's a lot of overlap and bad overlap. You see, there's tons of releases from 96. Or not 96. There's tons of releases from the band like 1998, from 2004, from 2000, from the mid 90s. There's tons of live releases, Red Rocks 95, and they play the same song, right? The same year, the same songs, the same sets. I mean, the shows, a lot of the shows that you get from certain years where there's multiple shows that are released for live tracks, it's the same, it's similar sets. When I look at my, we look at and even yeah, like it's very similar. But the thing is, the years where they were playing the same songs, they're so different on a night to night basis. Hey, what's up, Leah? Good to see you. So even though a lot of the older material that's released for live for or the tapered versions or the just the ones that are released officially, even though it's 36 again, it's um uh yeah 36 and what would you say and best of what's around and satellite. Every show had different Dave jams, had different moments, had different vibes. So you got different ideas. The band in 2018 and 2019 is so structured. It's too structured. So when you get certain songs, you're not seeing as much of a vibe. Now, Lying in the Hands of God, I'll listen to every version of that song. Buddy is amazing. But certain songs that we're getting, it's like the That Girl Is Used and let me just take a look at what we have here, just so I can see. So like again and again, it's pretty much the same all the time. The Come Tomorrow, even though that's not actually hasn't been a mini, let's say that. But how many she's do we need? It's the same. And even the here on outs, there's not much of a change. It's the same thing. So as we get more of these releases from 18 and 19, we're getting the same type of song over and over and over again instead of songs used to be like, for instance, Talking Tunes gave me Live Tracks 22. Again, I cannot say how much I appreciate it in this video enough times. But even that, the number 41 for that one in 2010 was just a whole different world. It was a whole new world. We're not getting that with these songs. Do you remember? And John's right. These songs don't have much room for jams, nor do I want them to jam out. I don't want That Girl Is You to go on, especially without the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. And even if they're there, they need to wrap it up. You ever seen the Dave Chappelle wrap it up by? Because the thing is, the song only had. Now, I like bringing the New Orleans, Popeyes, Louisiana chicken vibes into there with all the horns, but don't do it for more than 8 minutes. 9 minutes. We don't need a 15-minute That Girl Is You. There's no reason it should go that long. Get your 8 minutes in. Feel the Holy Ghost. Feel like you speak in tongues. Wild out like a Baptist church down south, and then wrap it up in 8 minutes. There isn't a lot of jams, and part of that is a lot of these songs weren't developed on the road. Now, Do You Remember was a little bit of a jam for my first show ever, 52512, but that's kind of different. It was just a little mumble. Dave was mumble rapping and like mumbled some stuff. Do you remember? Do you remember? But the song didn't really have much room for jams. It was created on the road, but just not jam worthy. Big Whiskey, Away from the World, and come tomorrow, there's less room for these songs to jam. These are more album songs. So, and leaving a line in the hands of God, not getting a whole no shocking. Right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, lying in the hands of God is that's just I mean that's the best. Come on, come on. I actually like that one too. I don't know how it would feel like it shouldn't be played every night, but every now and then it is nice to hear that. A beautiful song, beautiful, beautiful song. Um, too, but that's one of the songs. But and that's written in 2000. You know, you have early lyrics from the Batson sessions from the '06 era. So it's like that's a beautiful written song, and it goes to show you, oh, it was written back in the mid 2000s. Like word for word, there's a couple of changes, but and come on, yeah, it depends. Like it's beautiful, but it's still more of a studio track. Live, it doesn't fully translate, but I still like it over. I'd rather hear it over Do You Remember or She or That Girl Is You or Samurai Cop. But it doesn't translate as well. But the thing is, we're getting a lot of 18, we're getting a lot of 19. And as we get more music, it's like, well, okay, you're releasing a lot of free music, but you're also not picking the best stuff. We're not getting the Ravens, and we're not getting certain special moments like a When the World Ends for these free albums. We're getting shows that have a couple moments that are safe, but we're not getting the best of the best. Now, with that said, the option to purchase any album is what I would rather have. As much as I said at 2018, not feeling it. The ability to purchase a show I went to or purchase a show that was really special, like a Dallas, to me, I would rather just have it all on a nugs.com on a D or on the Music Today site. They just post up an MP3 version and a high quality version, lossless version of every show. Because then you can say, okay, well, I don't want to hear every show from this tour, but I want to hear the shows I went to. I want to reminisce in the moment, get the soundboard recording. To me, that's what I want. If they keep giving out these free downloads of shows that are safe, and there's moments in the shows that are great, but I would love to see just everything we release. That's not realistic at this point. We're getting there. We're getting closer because we're getting a lot more content. But I would love to see it be a la carte. You pick your show, make it $13. I don't care. I'll pay $13 for a show I went to. Many people will pay for a show they went to, and unlike posters, you can't sell out of an MP3 download. So the band could make really good money charging $10. And I think they know that, but they just don't want to. The band has to get more comfortable with releasing more of its music right off the bat versus putting it in makeup and hair, which is the live tracks process. Um, I love Bob Law. I love again and again. I really like that song just because it has Tim Moore on like a little funkier style and Dave focus on his singing. It's a great song to just put in there from the new album. Um, not too complicated, but yeah. So we'll see with that. The other thing here we want to talk about. Okay, so online earlier we had some discussion about Boyd not coming back. And one thing I kind of forgot to, I don't know if I've mentioned it, is if you listen to Dave and you listen to his interview with, I can't remember where it was, but part of the reason that Boyd isn't going to come back is he's not outside of the allegations. His actual vibe with the band has it's just they're not together. They're on different pages. Um, this is how he describes Buddy Strong in an interview. Dave describes Buddy as focused and high energy, and Boyd is easily distracted. Boyd wasn't focused. He had a lot going on in his life. He still does. He has a family, he has all these other things, but he's never been focused and he's been more improvised. I haven't seen the Boyd blooper video that I should have laughed, but that just I can just see like there's different things where it's like screaming, he's violin and then starts going screech, screech, screech. Oh no. But oh, is that one of them is a Hartford show? Yeah, like I mean, I think way Dave wants his band to be is focused, and the focus with Boyd has he's never been fully focused, but that's what made Boyd free. He's a free bird. He roams around and does his things. He's a little off tempo at times, but that's what gave us the best of Boyd. But it's also what is was the relationship. If you look at the stage in 2016, and you look at Boyd when he wasn't playing, when they played a new song and he wasn't part of it, and when you look at the band and how they looked in 2016, the rest of the band on stage versus how they looked in 2018 last year, Tim excited, smiling on stage. I think the bloopers, I think the lack of focus, which they both came to an agreement for he just was elsewhere. His mind was elsewhere. He had a lot going on. His mom was sick and dying at the time. Oh, no worries, Ryan. Good to see you. I'm gonna take a look because Alan's sending me the video. I don't know why bloopers makes me laugh. I shouldn't be laughing, but bloopers. I'll look at this later. I have to look at this later, but this is oh wow, so they have a correctly played. So let me see. You can post it on here. You can post it. I don't know why it's funny, but like it shows like it's showing help myself from Central Park, and it's gonna show a bad version of it. But the guess, but Leah, the reason he can't guess is because just him on stage, he's on a different wavelength. I think it's just the just like any relationship, when you're on different wavelengths, it's not gonna work. And sometimes you can't even be just friends. From afar, I think the respect can be there for each other. They can wish each other well. But I just think, yeah, one song. The thing is, if you look at the stage presence, it's all about presence. It's all, and I think Boyd wouldn't come on for just. Ryan says Boyd bloopers are the best. It's so funny to me, but like, just I don't know. but but no, like, and I think Leah, the thing is, just one song, like that's gonna open up a can of worms for the fans. Having him come on and having him come off, and the fans, no, we want more. We want. It's either you have him sit in for a part of a tour, or you don't have him at all. And it's just like the thing. There's certain people that I've dated. Right, I'm getting personal, but like one of my really really good ex girlfriends, no one was there was no vitriol, there was no hatred, there was nothing. Like even if I saw her today, I would say hi, you know. But it's just when we broke up, we had dated through college. It was best for her to even like just to be separated from me. We fell in love with each other, and just hanging out for one day, it wouldn't be the best thing. We had to move on. So Hartford 2012, you might die. Okay. You can't compare boys to an ex. What I'm saying is the point is there's certain people that you just can't be around. You can love them from afar and whatever, but we just had to. It is bad. I mean, but like, and it's not even like boy because it like there's a respect for that person that I did. But like, it's just whatever. Wherever it just we can't. But if we saw each other tomorrow, it'd be whatever. Like there'd be no issue because we knew what we meant to. But we grew apart and things changed. Basically, they stay the same. No, they don't. Because anyway, but it's to that point you can't just dip in and that's more like that's just like from a relationship standpoint, that's like hooking up. That's like, all right, we broke up, we went our separate ways because of chemistry issues. Dave has a whole new direction for the band. Let's hook up for one song. Just one song, just one song. Not a good idea. it's only been one touring year, or full band touring year, because in 2017 they just didn't tour, but it's only been one full calendar year of the full band being back in black, ACDC style. So it's not a good idea to just to dive in. And again, the crowd reaction, the crowd coming back, the crowd, oh, we want, but it's only would make things worse to have them there for one song. You can't do that right now. Will it change? We'll see. But right now, they can't do that. And again, Dave's focus, even for one song, Dave's focus is, he said his focus is to really have the sound be changed. He's tweaking the sound, and the sound is the piano. As much as we want the violin, I don't think he's even going to have another violin replacement. And here's the thing about this. Here's the thing that this is the same thing that Dave, we talked about last week, about Dave saying, you can kiss my arse, homie. All right. I don't care what you think about the set list. The same stubbornness with that, Dave has that same stubbornness with the sound of the band. That's why I don't think he has a violin player. He could easily, at least even for one show, bring in Brian Calhoun's wife, who plays violin. They had a little string court like set up there with some of the orchestra people in at the Hollywood Bowl, I believe it was, for Squirm and another song. So they could do it, but Dave says no. The sound 99% of the time is this. I'm not bringing on guests except that orchestra that was local in LA. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. And just as fans with the set list complaints have to deal with Dave saying, I play what I want to play, fans who want the violin back, you're going to have to deal with the Dave who was more stubborn. Back in, there's an interview that I saw online, but I think I saw it was removed. And I'm not going to mention anything other than that. But it was a video showing, or audio clip of Dave saying, hey, well, this is before his Giant Stadium, first sold out Giant Stadium show ever. He says, the fans, I work for the fans. The fans are my boss. He's so humbled by the fans. He says, I make these shows to impress the fans. But then they like transition to last week on this Friday night stream. He says, look, I play what I want. I don't care what, whatever you say. Like, I don't care back in my day fans think. I play what I want. I'm feeling it. If I want to play back-to-back nights, Samurai Cop, I play it. That's what he said. He's not saying that he's trying to impress him. He said, once I turn 50 or 50, I'm 52, I'm done with, I don't care what people think. So this is going to be part of Dave. And this is what all musicians go through, these stages as they age and change and grow. Certain things. Prince refused to have a will, okay? And that's a different subject, but Prince, one of the most talented musicians ever, refused to have a will. Talk about petty. These people are human. And I think part of Dave is saying, I don't want a violin. I want nothing to do with the violin. I want nothing to do with that reminds me of Boyd right now. We'll see what happens in a year or two if they're still touring. But right now he's saying, I don't want to do that. And this is the Dave that everyone's going to have to deal with. And yeah, Talking Tunes, focus. It's not there. Boyd's never been someone to focus. And the band, for better or for worse, is doing that. Dave used to have 5 different ideas for jams. And you listen to a 41 and he's noodling one way. You listen to another 41, he's noodling another way. Now, Dave doesn't noodle at all, hardly. He just admires everyone else. Dave loves to admire his band and loves admiring everyone else and how they play. So, and Ryan O'Connor, that's why the T-shirts back next will be pajamas. The old school Dave in pajamas, right? So Dave just doesn't want to jam. He wants to have everyone. He wants the quarterback. He doesn't want to scramble anymore. He wants to stay in the pocket and set up a bubble screen for different players to have their solos. He's not as freewheeling as he was back in the day. He wants focus. He's grown and matured into that, and he didn't get that from Boyd. He wouldn't care about mistakes 5 or 6 or 5, or no, I would say 10 or 15 years ago. Now he cares about these mistakes more. Now he may have let, Ryan says Dave calls him out in 14 and 15. So, but it's like once you get to now, 2016 and on, he's like, that's it. I'm done. So we'll have to see what happens from there. Other thing that I want to talk about quickly is Rashawn. Two things. First, I want to say, um, as I said on Twitter, shout out to Rashawn for defending Natalie Cressman. Natalie Cressman plays with the Trey Anastasio band. She does other various projects. She is a trombone player, very talented one at that. But Rashawn, the comments he made last week were defending her. People thought he was talking about the set list complaining because Dave made the, XM, comments. But he was actually talking about Natalie Cressman because people were saying that because of her gender, because of her looks, she was getting certain gigs. Because of how, because she's a woman, oh, that's why they wanted a girl. Like, it's not because of her talent, and that's far from the truth. So Rashawn did do great there to defend Natalie Cressman, a good friend of his. Now, the one thing I'll say that concerns me with this band is the trumpet's usage in the horn battles, and I've mentioned this a bunch of times. But to me, the trumpet, Rashawn is talented. I mean, he's a world class musician. But certain songs don't need an overload of the trumpet, including "Seek Up," which is fine to have the trumpet played, but some of the yelling and screaming and say it with your chest, young fella, type playing at the beginning of "Seek Up" is too loud, even for the mysterious Roy playing. Roy would play pretty mysterious and strong during the beginning of "Seek Up," but the not the trombone, the trumpet from Rashawn and the squeals and the stuff like that, which is very hard to do. Knowing people who play brass, and it's very hard. But like, that's not part of the band's DNA. Even with this DNB 4.0, to me, it shouldn't be part of their DNA. The loud squeals every time. Certain songs you can have trumpets. There's certain stuff, even a gaucho, which I'm not chasing gaucho. Oh, I gotta hear gaucho. Like, I've heard it a couple of times, but gaucho needs horns. But some of the older music from the Big Three albums, they don't need as much horn. They don't need as much brass power on it, and it takes away from the vibe of it. So that's another thing. And maybe I think I may make a video. I may not. I want to not make back-to-back videos that are like just dissing the band. This week I want to make a video just being positive about some stuff I like. We'll see what I record. But the horn is a point of contention. And what I realized too is the horn, when Rashawn plays one way, it forces Jeff to play another way in order to be heard. And Rashawn takes Jeff away from his jazzy, smooth South at times, because it's all this like Jimmy thing. Oh, let's be all crazy horn. Let's make all these noises, loud noises, like where Jeff could play something really, 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 really smooth, but he doesn't, because he has to be under the quarterbacking of Rashawn, who's a leader in some of these jams. So I really would like for Jeff to get more jazzy, which would only happen if Rashawn isn't freaking beating, playing through at the top of his lungs. Yeah, I should make a video of me laughing at the Bush blooper. But I mean, the other thing is this other cool thing, and then I'm pretty much gonna go. I'm gonna leave. I gotta practice some stuff for tomorrow on my guitar for church, performing tomorrow at church. So a cool thing I found out just by looking at the DMB Almanac. Today there are 2 live tracks that were released from 6/8, June 8th. One of them is in 1996. The other one of them was in 1997 here in Hartford, as they say. I don't think there's another set of live tracks or live releases where it's the same exact day on consecutive years. That's crazy. So 6/8, 96, Saratoga Springs, and then 6/8, 97, Hartford. Like, that is crazy that there are the same day back-to-back years. They don't think they planned it like that. But I think all other live tracks are on different dates completely. And then to line it up to be camera show. To line it up to be back to back years, that was a pretty cool step. And then I forgot too, the I was talking on Facebook. Shout outs. I was talking about the two sets and just throw a little stat out there. And again, Facebook friends, if I don't request you from DMB Family, I'm sorry, I'm not taking like people on my Facebook. That's like one of my more personal things. Not that again, I'm a super Jesus Christ superstar right now on YouTube or Twitter. I still only have a couple hundred followers on both. What was it that I was speaking to? Lauren Knight. And Lauren Knight, thank you for all the support and or Kite. Oh, I just realized there was no N. I was reading this. Lauren Kite, who said, the two sets were she liked the two sets because they had more rare songs. And then I looked it up just to check, and here's what benefited from two sets. Two sets, you have songs like Raven and Two Step. Tickets only $2,000 for SPAC night one pick. Hey, if you give, you begin to live. Okay, $2,800. It's priceless for being that close to Dave. So don't put a price on anything, Ryan. Okay, 2,800. I was messing with you, but I was like, only 2,800 for night one, not even night two. Like night one, you're gonna get a recap of the tour's greatest hits. Night two, you're gonna get the stuff they haven't played ever. And, like you're gonna get a bunch of tour debuts. So that's a lot. But Lauren Kite said there's a better chance of hearing certain songs like the Stone, Two Step, Cry from Captain, etc. Now, recently and Raven benefited a lot from two sets. So did Two Step, which is a song that's played, but it started to wane down as more music came out. But here's the thing. With the two sets, what I looked up is this. What I said to her is, thanks. Two sets helped spike Raven the Stone, Two Step, and recently for sure. However, rarities like Captain and Cry Freedom and other rarities weren't spiked. Actually, the year before Two Sets, 2013, Captain was played 11 times in the summer tour, 0 times in the Two Sets in 2014. And I played a couple times in 2015 in Two Sets. Cry Freedom was also played 3 times in 2013, 0 full plays in the Two Sets in 2014, and then 3 times in 2015. So virtually for Cry Freedom, there was no effect really for Cry Freedom's rarity over Two Sets. One year they played it just as many times as 2013, which was 2015. 2014, they didn't play it at all. Captain, they played it 11 times in 2013. They didn't play it in 2014. So Two Steps did help certain songs, like recently, and Raven and The Stone, which was played more because of Two Sets. But it did not help certain rarities. Another thing is, some of the songs, when they played Cry Freedom in 2015, they were at rarer shows. So they weren't at a random show in Alabama or Pensacola, Florida, or Jacksonville, Florida. When they played Cry Freedom, it was at a special venue like an Alpine or a SPAC. So that's the thing, is the two sets, people want the two sets to come back. And I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to a show, there's no two sets. But I would hope that if two sets came back, there was more variety. And I prefer not to have two sets. Maybe for a song or two, Tim's on acoustic, or Sean turn doesn't get as horn crazy, like he wasn't horn crazy for the two sets for the acoustic set. And maybe everything's a little toned down for a couple of songs. There, that would be cool, to have with Carter's kit some bongos and Dave sit in a chair, and they, Zach Brown Band does that. John Mayer does that with his current tours, his solo tours in recent years. They have a moment where they do a couple of acoustic songs, like a couple, I mean 3, if that. So it would be cool to have a little moment in the show where you do that for 3 songs, maybe not a full 6, 7, 8 songs. like 2 sets. So but that's all I got for today. Be on the lookout for other videos. I gotta go and practice, but for next Saturday, if I'm free, we can talk more and be more extended. But thank you guys for coming on to another Saturday night stream. We're at an hour and 4 minutes, hour and 5 minutes now. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. If you missed the beginning and hear my story about my crazy night, a crazy weekend 6 years ago this weekend, 6/7 and 6/8, which happened to fall on the same days as they did back in 2013, which is crazy. 6/7 on a Friday, 6/8 on a Saturday. And about this time 6 years ago, I was leaving the venue during two-step because my ride had to go because everyone had left the venue, wanted to go home. So, all right. Anyway, that's it. It's your boy Conspiracy 34. This is my 2013 shirt. You know, this one, one of the best touring years in a while. Best post Caribbean tour, in my opinion, 2013. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, Twitter, Instagram. You guys already know me. Conspiracy 34 on all those platforms. I'm out. Peace.